It's kind of like Coin, that shirt that they said what is it? You matter? Isn't that what it said? Or you are beautiful, or something like that?
It's a hat.
Can't remember what it said. All right, we're gonna start.
We're recording.
Hang on.
Oh, wait. Can I get a clap going?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We're back on Word of Mouth.
Good morning.
Welcome back
good
to
morning,
Word
good
of Mouth.
morning.
I'm Sally and Peacock. I'm going to be the host of today's episode.
My name's Ansley Allen.
And today, we happen to be interviewing our sisters, Stephen Peacock and Myres Allen.
Hey, Myres.
Wow.
Hey, Ansley. Good to see you.
So, how does it feel, Ansley, that, there's another woman with your last name, and one day you're going to be a woman without your last name if you get married?
How does it feel?
Yeah. How does that feel, that part of being a female?
Well, I can't say that I've given it much thought. The fact that she will be the only Allen female other than my mother, unless me and Chloe don't get married. But I'm excited to have a last name that's not Allen. Not because I don't love Allen, but because it's normal and I want to shake it up a little.
Shake It Up. Great Taylor Swift song.
Taylor
That's
Swift
Shake
love.
It Off, but that was a good try.
Hey, well.
Have we decided if we like or dislike Taylor Swift? Has our opinion changed since Maddie?
Okay, so still don't like her, but one thing that did happen this week that was crazy for me was Taylor Swift came out with a song that I don't hate.
Wow.
And I don't hate all of her music, but I hate, I strongly dislike a lot of her music.
Yeah.
I think it sounds sonically horrible. But she just was a feature on a Gracie Abrams song.
Yeah.
And I kind of like Gracie Abrams. So
Big fan.
I was driving. I literally drove and listened to Taylor Swift sing in the car alone. That was the first time I've ever done that in my life. That was kind of a crazy thing that happened this week.
Was this before or after the tattoo?
After.
So
Yeah.
do you think the tattoo changed you?
Wow.
The tattoo changed Taylor. I think
Wow.
that's what happened.
Wow.
Does Taylor Swift have any tattoos?
Surely.
I wonder.
I have no idea. Since we're on the topic of Taylor Swift, feel the need to clear up that I don't like Taylor Swift. And that was mentioned on the
Okay.
very first episode. And that is what started said group chat that y'all have mentioned in a previous episode.
We probably should have.
I love that group chat.
So Ansley, for our listeners, has a group chat with me and Stephen.
It's called Ansley's Important Comments
Updates.
on
Yeah,
the
that is, yeah.
pod or something like that.
And so pretty much after every episode or every other episode, she'll send us her thoughts.
If I have important information.
Yeah.
I don't always need to say something.
Right.
But sometimes things need to be said.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Like I don't like
sometimes
Taylor Swift.
right. Sometimes I say things or Steven says things on Ansley's name that are incorrect.
Or just in general that are just completely wrong.
that are just
That's a
wrong.
great point.
Yeah, and so I've said this before, I think with Cole, every now and then we say something on the podcast that's wrong, and then someone corrects us, and we should probably have a running highlight reel on our Instagram that corrects things that we said that
could
are
you
wrong.
Permanently put something on the Instagram
Yeah.
that lets
So
everyone
that
know
people don't
of my
think-
disdain.
Yeah, that Ansley is a Swiftie, or that Cole, I can't remember.
No slander. On
You
my
know
name, please.
what I'm just now thinking of for the first time? I do think about way too many people have podcasts.
Right.
But why did the first person do a podcast? What was the first ever podcast?
When I was 12, I would listen to sermon podcasts,
Oh, yeah.
and I wonder if those might have been the first podcasts.
Or those educational CDs that you'd listen to in a car.
Yeah, I wonder
Like an audiobook,
what's the
maybe?
difference between that and a podcast.
Yeah, podcasts, how they're done today, I feel are a kind of a new thing. Even though people have been recording their voice in informative ways forever,
Yeah.
Who came up with the word podcast? Where'd that stem from?
Podcast. You send out a pod. What would pod
I
mean?
don't know what pod would.
You can send it out in little pods. I don't know.
Sally.
No idea.
We're 4 minutes and 32 seconds in, and Sally has said 0 words.
Okay.
Not true.
We should do introductions. Sally, do you want to say anything
to.
that people might want to know about you?
Sure. I'm Sally and Peacock. I go to Sanford. I'm Stephen's sister, and that's basically my title.
Wow.
What's your other
Steven?
title
You
right
have a
now?
Sally and
sister?
Peacock, not for long.
Wait, what's your other title right now?
Nick Tolbert's fiance,
Wow.
cat lover. Those were also on my list.
Fiance does get that.
Beyonce gets the full bass boost.
Fiance gets the bass boost. Do you think Nick listens to these?
No.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think
don't.
has he
I
ever
think
listened
he
to one with you? Like when you're like it's come on when like you've been listening to it, it's in the car or something?
Yeah, a lot of times when I'm driving to him, I'll be listening and I'll be like, you have to listen to this section because you'll laugh at it or find it interesting. So in those cases, also he'll probably listen to this. So
I was gonna say if we can
Wow.
get
Hey,
get Nick hooked, hey Nick, then we'll have
Yeah.
2 DC listeners.
There you go.
With
Wow.
Kristen.
Yeah, we have a listener, Kristen Forney, one of my favorite listeners of ours. She listens to this every single time it comes out on her like tube ride in DC.
That's kind of awesome.
that's epic.
Kind of crazy.
Ansley.
Hey, I'm Myres' sister, aka Sanford girl, aka Ansley Allen. I just felt like I needed to say those because that's what everyone refers me to, probably in that order.
Sanford girl.
Someone commented on my graduation post. So I graduated in April.
Yes.
Come on.
And someone commented on my post from April. They commented 2 days ago and said, "So are you just girl now?"
That's kind of funny.
That's
Is your
Hello.
Instagram name still Sanford Girl? I don't remember.
It is. I don't know what to change it to. I've never had any other.
Maybe like Ansley _ Allen.
That's
That's so lame.
that's
Why
a
would
funny
I
thing.
Number.
if you come up with like a
Ansley
clever handle when you're like 13 and first start your Instagram,
13.
well then you kind of get stuck with it,
Yeah. I
My
don't
friend
know what to
Christian
do.
made an Instagram. He deleted his Instagram. He didn't deactivate it. And then one day, I was like, "You should make an Instagram again." He was like, "Okay," and he just like made one real quick. And Christian _ Rosenberger was taken, so I came up with the username Rosen _ Christian Burger, and that was it's still his Instagram
See,
name.
That is
That's
so
funny.
good.
But
But
it's-
Ansley
they deleted his
_
Instagram
Allen
again,
is
but-
really lame.
You could do Al _
Allen.
Ansley Ann. Alien definitely has some opportunity here. I
Yeah.
am an Al.
Okay, here's
Ansley
my thought.
Alien.
Okay, here's my
Ansley
thought because people
Alien.
have asked me about this a lot recently. I think I'm going to keep the username for now, just because I'm still at Sanford for another 2 years while I get my Master's of Arts in Christian Counseling, and then
Slay in.
Don't do that.
I was gonna
And
say
then-
you could go like what Ibby did, and you could be like Anzabama,
Alabama Ansley.
Alabam's.
Her name is Mississippi Ibby. It's the same thing. Ansley,
I thought it was
Alabama.
just
Ansley.
Mississippi.
Is it Mississippi? I thought it was Mississippi Ibby.
I think it is Mississippi. That's why I said
It's just Mississippi.
I have
Ansley-
always
Ansley-
read that
Not
as
wrong.
Mississippi Ibby.
I think
Okay,
that's how
too.
most people read
But
it.
I thought I'm thinking this. I'm going to keep the
Anslabama.
username until one day I get married, and then I drop the new last name as the handle.
Wow.
What do you think
That's
they'll?
bold.
Okay. 3 seconds to think about it. Then you have to say what you think your last name's going to be. 3,
I'm
2,
not doing
1.
that. I'm not doing that. I will not be doing that.
Oh man,
Something generic is good.
Almost got her with that one.
you should have been like Tebow.
Tebow.
Jim Tebow.
I do not want to marry him.
Why not? He's so.
He's like the
a Christian.
hottest guy ever.
He's a Christian.
Efron. You should have said that. Zac Efron.
I don't have celebrity.
Bieber.
We also have one other sister, and she's not on right now, but she'll be on at some point, and that's Chloe. Chloe is our youngest
Chloe.
She's
sister.
young. I miss her.
Robotics pro Chloe.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I used to
She'll
say
love
Stephen
those.
was my sister.
Mm.
I really did.
that's funny.
Stephanie.
I did.
Celebrity crushes. If you had to name one, who are your celebrity crushes?
Depends on the day.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of my recent one. I can't remember his name right now. Oh, Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea who that is.
I genuinely don't know of anyone that I could tell you. I'll be so honest.
Taylor Lautner.
No.
The other guy from
Timothy
Twilight.
I-
Chalamet.
No, and also no.
You
That's a
loved him.
lie. You are 100% attracted to Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, Spider-Man guy.
Say Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
You're Tom
Tom
Holland, girl.
I used
You
to be
loved
big.
him.
I used to be a big Tom Holland girl. He was
Why did that stop? Like he still looks the same.
He does still look the same, but I am a different.
She's
person.
over him.
I moved on.
Moved on. That's fair.
See, I'm very much a realist, and so when it comes to
Okay.
celebrity crushes, I can't see myself with them
yeah.
because that's not gonna
You're
happen.
such a
ever.
realist.
Yeah,
What?
I don't think that's what a celebrity crush is.
The only celebrity
What's a
crush I
celebrity
ever
crush, then?
remember having was
It's
Selena
kinda like-
Gomez when I was a kid.
Someone's cute.
Oh, Selena. I
I
still
mean,
have
I
don't-
can
I'm not
recognize
like
when
Selena
someone's
Gomez.
attractive, but
Well, you'll never have a crush on a celebrity. Like you can't
It's not
know them.
real. It's just theory. It's just fake. You know. Okay, this is a more fun one.
Okay.
If you had to have a celebrity crush on a female celebrity, like who's like your female, you're like that.
Since you don't have a male
That
crush.
girl is objectively like beautiful in both personality and whatever the personality is for physical beauty. I don't know what the right word for that is.
Mine is definitely Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Just kidding, I don't know.
What girl are y'all like? Oh, that's it.
What's
I'm
your
having
what's
problems
your
remembering
female
names.
celebrity like friend
The girl
crush
from
or
Harry
whatever?
Potter.
The girl from
Hermione.
Harry Potter.
Whatever Hermione Granger, the actress.
Not Stone.
Probably the little tiny rat-looking dude in Harry Potter. What's his name? Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
I genuinely don't remember.
ASMR.
I
You're
feel
a
like-
Starbucks latte.
That was good. That was good. Maybe Zendaya.
Facts.
so,
So just
your
not
two-
Tom Holland.
Your two,
Just Tom
your two
Holland's
celebrity
girlfriend.
crushes are dating each other.
I think mine on the dude end is, man, I don't know.
Mine legitimately is like what's his name? Ryan
Gosling,
no,
Reynolds?
Reynolds.
Reynolds,
Ryan Reynolds.
I
Is
still
that the
don't know
Barbie guy?
Difference between Gosling
or is that
and
that's
Reynolds.
Ryan Gosling, right? The Barbie one.
Barbie is Gosling. Ryan Reynolds is like
Ryan Gosling is probably mine. Then I think that dude's so funny.
I like Ryan Reynolds because I like him outside of like acting. He's like a business guy. He's like the Mint Mobile guy.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
also
I know
owns
who
a-
that
he
is.
owns a soccer team.
Oh,
Wrexham.
Yeah, and he I'm pretty sure he's like married and has kids, and he's never like divorced his wife. So he seems like a good person.
Let's go. No divorces.
That's a low standard for a good guy.
In Hollywood, it's not really, honestly, unfortunately.
Oh, mine's freaking Jerry Seinfeld. What am I thinking?
Oh, I guess
Jerry Seinfeld's
yeah.
for sure my number one.
Yeah,
and
never mind.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus is my female one. I just want to hang out with him all the time.
Yeah.
I wish my whole life I could just hang out with him.
I was thinking about he counts as like an A-list celebrity, but I was thinking about like I don't
Like
know,
young,
pop
hot
culture.
people.
Yeah, basically.
freaking Zac Efron.
Yeah.
I just don't think Zac Efron's very attractive.
That's a lie.
I don't.
He's objectively attractive. He's got like brown hair, dark skin.
He's also kinda
ripped.
short.
It is.
Huh?
It's the guy from the new Hunger Games with
Oh
his
my
buzz
gosh.
cut.
That's my celebrity crush.
Yeah.
Only
Don't
with
know
the
his
buzz
name.
cut though.
Who is that?
The
The
guy
guy
that
from the
played
new Hunger
Snow
Games.
in the new
Yeah.
Hunger Games, specifically only him in the Hunger Games, because I looked him up afterward and it wasn't.
You
the
looked
same.
him up afterward.
I did.
Yes.
That's how attracted she was.
Wow.
She was like, I gotta look this guy up.
He is
No, we
beautiful.
were actually at dinner with friends and we were like, "You'll have to see this man." And
My
we showed
celebrity
him.
crush is
showed
Kevin
him.
De Bruyne.
Yeah.
That's a soccer player. I didn't watch the new Hunger Games. I have a kind of a firm belief that if you have to wait that long to make another movie, it's probably going to be like
The
you're
book
kind of
came
just
out like long after the other books. That's why it took so long for the movie to come out.
when did the book come out?
fairly recently,
Like
in the
a
last
year before
couple years.
the movie
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah, well, I think the same principle applies to the author, right? The book.
Well, it's a prequel, so
like-
it's not like, oh, this is the next thing in the series because
Yeah.
it was making so much money. She actually thought about it, and it's a prequel, so it's before the other 3 books happen.
Yeah, see, they've got you fooled. They've got you wrapped up around their finger. They're just dragging you around, Ansley.
Okay.
I just don't agree with that.
So, Sally, what was it like growing up with Stephen?
Hard to say.
Did y'all get along growing up?
depends on the day.
Most days, no.
Did all of y'all's, like, out of all the brothers, who did you get along with most?
You know, weirdly enough, Sam. I guess it's not
That's
that
funny.
weird, but me and Sam, he was like really nice to me. He was either really mean or really nice. Stephen just kind of like existed and like bullied me, and then I would just like call him a girl and say he liked the color pink. And then me and Seth would like legitimately scream at each other most of my life. But then like every time one of them went to college, we just all of a sudden became really good friends.
Yeah.
Like something
Yeah.
about it. Me and Seth, like the day before he moved, screaming at each other. And then he moved, and then the next time I saw him, we were like,
Besties.
but yeah,
Buddies.
literally besties. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Steven now is pretty true to his childhood self. Like they're very similar. It makes sense how he got here to me.
Yeah.
Wow. Deep words from Sally to be in the episode. Yeah, I mean, Sally and I, like, it was pretty much my chief goal every day to, like, kind of mess with Sally. I thought it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, there really wasn't very much motive beyond that.
Hey, one
it was
nice.
funny.
When I think of Steven in my childhood, I think of our cat because, like, he's like Sally really likes
Sandy.
cats. Like, let's bring her a cat home, and he did that, and that was really nice.
That is
He found our
nice.
cat under a rock, but then
Did.
every
I
single
was having
day,
a firework contest, and by contest, I mean we were shooting fireworks at each other. Me and Alex versus two other guys, Austin and
Did
RJ.
you win?
Well, we found the cat and kind of just dipped, but we caught
No
the
doubt.
cat.
And you lost.
It was like this
indirectly.
little kitten, and then we walked around and knocked on everyone's door in the neighborhood, asking them if they wanted it because we found it, and there was like not a collar, or we were like,
Yeah.
"Is this yours? Do you want it?" And everybody was like, "No," and no. And then I called my dad, and I was like, "Dad, we asked everyone in the whole neighborhood. It was like 20 people." And we were like, nobody wants it. And then he was like, absolutely not. And then slowly my mom was just like, Shane, come on. And then
we got the cat.
got
But
the
it's
cat.
funny because it was this like nice gesture from Steven. And then every single day after that, he would just like torture the cat. Like, I can never figure out if this was a dream or real. So you can tell me right now. But like I have this memory of Steven like holding Sandy by her tail and like waving her around in the air by the tail.
Not true. Did
And
not
I
happen.
firmly believe that he was trying to bother me and the cat by doing this. So it's just kind of funny.
So do you think the cat was a tool to
Like,
bother you
yeah.
more, or do you think that the cat
think
took the
originally-
brunt of a lot of the bullying?
Originally, it was like a nice thing, and then it became a thing that bothered me because he knew.
I definitely did not throw Sandy around by the tail. I did like toss her off our back porch sometimes. That's really,
true.
it's not, I'm not
so
proud of that, but
It's okay.
she was fine. She definitely flew higher than
She's
that
still
before.
living 13
Yeah.
years later.
There's this one story.
Somehow.
Have we ever talked about the story on this podcast about the time that Sandy flew?
I was about to say.
I don't
I
think
was
we
about
have
to
actually.
start to
I
tell
think
that
I know the story, but I don't
Okay.
think we have.
So,
So
Ansley,
Sandy,
have you ever heard about this?
No.
Okay.
I'm on the edge of
Sandy,
my
your
seat.
cat.
Sandy is my cat, and it's like the trees were dead. So I guess it was like February or March or something like that. Yeah. And we have like in our backyard in home in Gardendale, we have like a forest behind our house, and Sandy somehow like climbed up the tree. And if any of y'all have cats that have done this before, you know that cats, whenever they go up in trees, they can't climb down, but they can climb up. They can only jump off things. So if they go up to a certain height, then they'll just like freak out. And then I guess their brains are trying to tell them like maybe there's a way out up, but there's not a way up now at this height. So she kept climbing further and further up the tree. And then like literally all night long, she would just like she was up there for like 3 days. And we were like, we don't know what to do. Like surely she'll figure out a way at some point.
She was also being like
So,
so annoying.
yeah, like, all night long
meowing
was just like,
all day.
like,
Like-
and she like usually you never hear her, but like she would wake us up sometimes. She'd be like belching so loud in the middle of the night. But she was up there for 2 nights, and then the 3rd day we were like, she was way up there, and we were like, we got to figure this out. Like we got to figure out a way to get her down. And then Mr. Mike, our neighbor, had a like pulley system. He like I don't know if he had it and was for stuff like this or he made it, but essentially he threw a rope up to a very tall limb. I don't even know how he got it up there, like to close to the top of the tree, and the tree is probably like 30 feet tall, like I guess.
Really tall tree.
And then that tree, he used that and then like kind of hooked it around the bottom of another tree and then like pulled it to where like when you pulled it, the rope wouldn't move. If that makes any sense, you know what a pulley is, you know what I'm talking about. But pulled it, and then the tree, like a 30-foot long tree, kind of got super close to bending all the way in half, like to where Sandy like was just about to jump off of it, just into our backyard. And then all of a sudden, a tree limb broke, and because of all the pressure on it, and this 30-foot long tree or 30-foot tall tree became like a ginormous 30-foot tall catapult with as much torque and force as you think a tree bent completely in half would have. Like, it was crazy. So Sandy flew. I like to this day, like I just strongly wish we had a video of this. But like Sandy probably flew like 60 feet into the sky, like straight up, like impressively straight up too, like because you know she could have just like flown into the woods, but instead she just flew straight up.
The tree just like
and then and then she was literally like doing backflips and crap, and then she just like landed, got up, walked away. Like, it was crazy.
Insane.
I don't know how she landed. I can't remember, but
How did she live?
we were like, we were all like,
I
If it's a
myself that a
30-foot
lot.
tree and she gets
from-
catapulted 60 feet.
from my memory, like I think Mike and my dad were like talking about it. We didn't really know. Like, it was one of those things where like we didn't know what was going on. Like, we just we were like, I was inside and Mom was like, y'all got to come look at this. And we walked outside and it all happened so fast.
I remember just like walking outside and Mr. Mike was just, he didn't ask anyone. He was just so bothered by her cat belting out that he
Yeah.
just like was going to do it. And then we were like, oh, what is he doing? Like trying to figure out. And all of a sudden the cat just goes
Just
flying.
That's hilarious.
Maybe literally Dad didn't even talk to him. Maybe like Mike just thought it was a good idea.
I'm like pretty sure he was just bothered by her.
Yeah.
I'm just like, we have to
It
stop
was
this.
crazy though. Like Sandy just like hit the ground and all of us had this like cumulative like 2-second, is she dead? Like, did that because it could have killed her, because it was like
should have killed her.
Kill her.
Like-
Hello?
and yeah, I remember her just like
Maybe
walking
she's
off,
immortal.
and she was like she sat down. I mean, she ate and stuff, but she like pretty much sat in the same place for like a week straight, or maybe even a month straight. I don't know. She was like she was not moving fast for a long
crazy.
time.
Maybe she had a cat concussion.
Yeah, she definitely had some like broken rib or something. I don't know.
Anyways, I feel the need to circle back and say that I said Stephen as a child lines up with Stephen now, and then we talked about how mean Stephen was to me. Those two comments are not related. He's not a mean person. I just meant like the way his personality was. He's not mean
Doesn't
to me
bully
today.
animals anymore.
Sarcastic, silly, just trying to make everybody laugh.
Just like super
Yeah.
annoying, ugly.
yeah, kind of
yeah.
a girl.
But
Kind of
me
a
and
girl.
our household
Likes
dynamic
pink.
was pretty much like, I don't even know, like I feel like humans don't have like personalities. Like, they don't actually like grow into being human beings until like, I don't know, 7th grade, 8th grade, however old that is. Like, until you get into your preteens, like you're not actually like, you're just essentially like, you're just a child. Like, I don't know how to explain it. So I feel like for those years, I feel like we were just like kind of screwing around. We just wanted to play. It was like every single morning we woke up, went downstairs, and just wanted to play, like in the toy box, or like go outside all day. But then whenever we got to be like, whenever me and Seth and Sam, my two brothers, became old enough, Sally still wasn't old enough. But we would just like screw around, and Seth was in private, or kind of private school. He was like at a theater school, so he was gone a lot, like practicing for plays and stuff. So me and Sam were homies. We also, me and Sam shared a Jack and Jill bathroom, so we were just around each other all the time. So we couldn't really fight and get away from each other. But me and Sam had this dynamic where Sam kind of like held it over my head that Sally liked her more, and she did. And I guess to cope with that, I just made it worse. I was like, if you're gonna hate me, I'm gonna show you why you hate me. That was kind of the. But no, it truly was. It truly was like, it was a good. I mean, all things considered, we had a great childhood. We had like literally. I think about it sometimes, like the fact that we would just be out playing in the neighborhood with all of our friends, and then Mom had a bell. She would just ring on the back porch,
That's
and that
so
meant like
funny.
it was
Dinner time
dinner
bell.
time. Like that makes me feel like I grew up in Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, she'd have the dinner time
That's
bell
funny.
and then just like tell us to drink water out of the hose. Or sometimes she'd put pink lemonade on the back porch, but she'd just like lock us out of the house.
literally,
That's
like we
funny.
couldn't go inside. It's crazy. I remember like in middle school too. Like whenever I would get into video games, which I never was like a video game guy, but for a few times I tried it, and I was just like, it's like people do this all day. Like what the heck? I want to go like scrape my knee. You know?
Yeah.
I couldn't really. I just wanted to.
I want to go get a bruise on my elbow.
Yeah. I want to go play with a gun or something.
I want to go throw rocks.
I
at
think about this
squirrels.
sometimes. Like I know, like guns have like terrible connotations nowadays and stuff, but like whenever I was growing up, I didn't know that. And my cousins lived in the country, and they just like literally from their porch, or sorry, from their like back window would kill deer sometimes. That's from their house, and
Wow.
like because they lived on land. And I remember I was like, I guess like I'd come home from Eufaula, like the town they live in, one time, and I was like, I'm gonna do this too. And I like walked around our neighborhood with a pellet gun, like trying to kill birds, and it was like fun, but like I would do it. Like I remember like shooting at a bird one time, like from like just the road, like, and there definitely was a house like behind the bird, but I just like I was like I got it, like this is gonna be
Gotta
sick
get it.
though. I gotta kill this bird. But like, could you imagine just driving around a neighborhood now and just seeing like a 8-year-old with a pellet gun? That'd be crazy.
I was gonna ask, like, at what age do you think y'all were then allowed to kind of go and roam around freely? Like, what was the earliest that y'all were allowed to do that?
You talking about like in our neighborhood?
Yeah.
Like the whole time, like as long as I can remember.
I don't remember a time where I
But-
couldn't. But we knew a lot of the neighbors.
There was like boundaries though. Like we weren't allowed to go
When the street
past.
lights came on, we had to be home.
Yeah.
And then
That's
we
about it.
couldn't go past like, I guess the Dollar General didn't come to the front of our neighborhood till like we were in high school. But they built a Dollar General at the end of our neighborhood. But for like there was like a house up there close to it.
The fire department, or
Yeah, like well, yeah, and then the fire department also didn't build that. They didn't build the fire
Okay.
department at the front of our neighborhood till like probably I was in college. But like there was like these two houses on that road. That's like the road to get out of our neighborhood that we weren't allowed to go past. But there was like this huge hill, like that. I remember I would go like I'd be bored sometimes. I'd just take my scooter up there just to go down the hill. Like that was the whole. I was like, I'm gonna do this today. That was like my thing to do
that's
today.
what I'm gonna do today.
Just like walk up the hill,
Circles
ride down
back
it.
to the
be like,
wanting
"Oh,
to
that
scrape
was
your knee."
sick." Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Somebody
actually
get a
had
bruise on his
I had
elbow.
some wild wrecks on that. My last memory with my grandfather. I was riding my scooter down the hills trying to impress him. I was like 4 years old. Ate it. Literally scraped the palms of my hands. I vividly remember. Oh, it sucked. But yeah, we played. We went out and played in our neighborhood like all the time. And then we had a pool across the street from our neighborhood that we would like bike to and walk to sometimes.
Take the
We also
golf
had a
cart.
golf
Club.
cart.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I was gonna say I have this. This goes back to shooting birds with a pellet gun or whatever you said. But I have a vivid memory of riding the golf cart with Dad one summer night, and there were just like tons of frogs on the road because frogs come out in the summer, and we just like, well, Dad, not me. I was not driving. Would just like try to squash every frog, and it would like
so funny.
actually make like the pop
Oh,
noise
no.
when we
that's
rolled
terrible.
over it,
Shit.
and we
God.
killed so many frogs.
Dude, you remember when Dad straight up killed a, man, what was it? It was like he took a legit gun and shot something in our backyard one time. I can't remember what it
I
was.
don't
It was like
remember, but I do
it was like a
remember this.
possum or something
Probably
like
a
that.
possum or a raccoon or something.
It was I think it was a raccoon, and it was like on the. It wouldn't have been
Defending
on the
his
back porch, you wouldn't.
territory.
But like, I remember hearing a gun, and we were inside, and I was like, "That's like a legit gun." Like what the? Because it just didn't register with where we live. Like that just wouldn't happen there. And Dad was like, "This one raccoon keeps stealing Sandy's food." I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Put it into it.
"Gosh."
What's
Yeah.
you know what's funny is We also had a golf cart most of our childhood, and I never think about like buying a golf cart one day.
Yeah.
Ever. I never think about that. But like so many. I wonder how many of our friends also grew up with golf carts, because that was like a main part of growing up.
We also had a golf cart garage.
We
So we had
did.
our 2-car garage, and
Yeah.
then we had another
It was
separate
a
garage.
single garage, but it like was
We
barely big enough to fit a car, and we just put the golf cart in there.
And one time, Myers was driving the golf cart around the neighborhood, and he got pulled over by a police officer
Inside your neighborhood?
inside
In
the
my
neighborhood.
Which we grew up in a neighborhood that had a golf cart course
So it was
built
normal.
into it. So it was normal A. B, it wasn't like that bougie, but like it was just one of those neighborhoods that had a golf course. And
Yeah.
People, we saw kids riding around like who couldn't sit on the seat and reach the pedals. They would be standing up on the steering wheel and like pushing the pedals while
gosh.
standing up. Like very small children riding around
Yeah.
in golf carts.
But he got pulled over
I
for
got pulled
whatever
over
reason.
one time.
And he didn't have a driver's license.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "You need to go home."
Yeah.
That was it.
I've had some really stupid interactions with police like that.
When we were, or I guess when Stephen was in high school, he was riding the golf cart with like a ton of friends. And we live in the neighborhood with the mayor of Gardendale. And his friends wrecked the golf
Yeah.
cart into the crepe myrtle in
That
his
was
front yard. And they had to buy him a new one.
You're
And he
kicked
had
out
to
of
take care of
Gardendale.
it for like the next year.
Oh, that sucked. That's another great story we haven't talked about on the podcast. So me and my friends in middle school, we would have spend the night parties at my house. Where like I vividly remember being the only friend that was allowed to have more than 2 people spend the night at the same time. So
Funny. That's a weird stipulation.
I know. So I would have like, I remember my mom being like, how many people? And I remember the first time being like 7, and she was like, okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, let's freaking go. I thought it was 2. I thought there was like a universal rule that only 2 people could spend the night. And
That's funny.
that group ended up growing into, I mean, how many, or how big do you think the largest group of people spending the night at our house was? 20,
I have
15?
no idea. I have no memory of your friends spending the night at all.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
Well, we did it from time to time, and one of the times we did it, I think 5. Yeah, there's 5 guys who came over. It was John Michael, Trent, maybe Cade, Nate, and somebody else. But anyways, Nate, Trent and I don't remember who else. I think Trent and John Michael were on the back of the golf cart, like standing up, swaying it back and forth on that same hill that I was talking about earlier. That was like huge, and I would go and ride my scooter down. We were riding down that hill, and then so they swayed it front right, and then so they like swayed it to the left one time, enough for me to like lose my balance while driving, and then like yank the wheel over to the side, and then if I overcorrected, we would have like flipped. So I had I had to like run it off the road, but I ran it off the road to where there was a freaking ditch, and the ditch we like ran into a tree, and like. To my surprise, the golf cart worked afterwards, which is awesome. But I thought I like wrecked the golf cart, and the golf cart was like the funnest thing we had. So
This
I was
golf
like, I
cart
thought I was
has
scared
lived
everybody's
through
gonna
a
be mad at us.
I
It
like,
But-
there were definitely, I ran over like people's sprinkler heads, when people get
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the sprinklers like installed
Yeah.
on the edge of their yard. I like ran over some of those.
Didn't you hit Miss Jennifer's car?
Yeah, I backed into someone's car one time.
Oh.
I was pretty rambunctious with a golf cart.
Oh, it was so much fun.
It was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
And we with having a golf course,
Yeah.
I would go ride the cart paths, and riding cart paths was like I was an NASCAR driver. It was so much fun. It
Going
was so cool.
going
So
12 miles per
Yeah,
hour.
maxed
You're
out
like,
at whatever is 10 miles an
But-
hour.
So I like go down in this ditch, come up, and then as I come up, I hit this crepe myrtle like at a upward trajectory, going from their front yard into their driveway. And so I take the crepe myrtle for underneath the golf cart with me, like across the driveway.
Wow.
If that makes any sense. So I completely uproot a crepe myrtle, which I have a crepe myrtle now, and like they're freaking hard. Like their root systems are ginormous.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
It was
crazy to
new.
me that it happened.
That's why it was such a bad thing, because they had like just planted their crepe myrtles.
Are you serious?
That is my memory of it.
Huh? Because it was pretty huge. I remember that. It was like pretty
Maybe
big. It was like a
I'm
tree. But anyways, we like hit it. We uproot it. We kill it. And then honestly, knowing how plants work, we probably definitely could have just replanted it and watered it. But they said they specifically wanted like a certain kind that cost it was like $150. So I had to pay for $150. Like they were, like I remember it was Stan Hoagland, the mayor. It was her mom or his mom, and she was like such a jerk about it. Which I did hit her crepe myrtle, with the golf cart being stupid, but I felt bad about it. It's not like I was being like a jerk.
Yeah, it's not like it was
I was
intentional.
freaking out. So anyways, it was the first like really bad thing I'd ever done in my life. Or at least it felt like it. Now in retrospect, it's like, who cares? But anyways, I had to plant this crepe myrtle in the front yard, and then I had to go every single morning at 6 a.m. before school. Like they specifically said I had to do it before school. I couldn't do it after school. Which again, now knowing how plants work,
For a year?
I don't know why they made me do that. I did it for the rest of the school year. Like every single
6
day.
That's crazy.
I would like take their hose from their yard all the way to the end of their yard, like water it, go back. And I had to do it on a bike. Actually, some days I would do it on the golf cart, ironically enough.
That's funny.
But it was just like it was so stupid. But yeah, that happened. That was the golf cart.
Growing up, me and Ansley did not get along like at all.
Okay, before you were like 12. Before you were 12, we got along. And then there was the period of time that we didn't until your senior year of high school, and then we got along again.
But I similarly was really not nice to Ansley. I think it's partly because we're so close in age. And our personalities are also very different.
Yeah, and I'm really, really loud, and I was really, really obnoxious. And you don't like loud, obnoxious, or at least you didn't.
I didn't.
I don't know.
Ironically, the older we've gotten, I feel like the more similar we've gotten. Because she was the loud extrovert girl, and I was the quiet introvert, deep thinker type of guy.
But then I would bring my friends over, and they would also be loud.
Yeah.
And then you already didn't have a high tolerance for that, and they would just be
I
amplified.
just got really impatient.
Yeah. But before you were 12, we would play stuffed animals together all the time.
Yeah.
And we'd line them up upstairs. We'd go upstairs where our playroom was, and we'd line up our Webkins. And then they would be at war with one another because Myres wanted them to be at war, but I wanted them to be in love. And so there was one of his that was in love and one of mine that was in love. It was like Romeo and Juliet. And they would like sneak over to the side.
It was funny. Yeah, it was funny when we reminisce on the way that we played growing up, because it would be like a weird mix of like the boy personality that wants like violence and like action, and the girl personality that wants love. And so we would be playing like with Hot Wheels, and I'd have super cool sports cars that would race around, and then hers would be like a family of Hot Wheels. And so like the mom and the dad would be like a truck and an SUV, and the little boy would be like a Corvette or like a sports car.
So funny.
That's awesome.
And then we would play with perler beads. I don't know if you've ever gotten to perler beads, but they were basically like these little trays that had pokey parts, and you'd put the beads in them and make a design, and then you could iron it, and it would like stick together, whatever. And so we would play with Hot Wheels with the perler beads, and I would put the perler beads in the lids of the containers and then have the cars around it, and I would sort the colors into the cars. And that was what I did while he did whatever he did with,
so classic.
which was, I don't know what you did with the perler beads, but
I ran a construction site.
yeah, and I organized
My dump
the
trucks
colors
and stuff. You know, you move beads from one place to another.
And then
Did y'all play, Sally, did y'all have like action heroes or like Barbies or?
I mean, I did. I was just so much younger than all of them. So
Right.
like by the time I even have memories, like they were just like running around the neighborhood with their friends, and I was just like,
what's
Yeah.
the
Mom
age
or
difference
maybe my
between you and Steven?
like 4 years age, but 5 years like school grade.
Yeah.
So the 5 years, like of school difference, like really actually did put a pretty good big gap.
Yeah.
So whenever I was like interacting with my brothers, which Stephen would probably have more to say about this because he has better memories of me as like a young child, but my interactions with my brothers that I remember were more so either bullying me or like being very much an older brother, not like playing like that. Just
How much
like,
older does that make Seth? Is he 7 years?
Yeah, probably
8 years?
Probably 8 years, maybe 9.
That's more like me and Chloe. I'm 7 years older than her.
Mm-hmm.
So it like, what does a 12-year-old talk to a, what's the math on that 5-year-old about? Like, what does a 12-year-old do with a 5-year-old? What does a 17-year-old talk to a 10-year-old about? We just like, I don't know, big gap.
We're
But
just
then
2
you
years
like
though.
enter the what Stephen always refers to as the becoming a human phase, and then it's he always uses that for me because I like at some point in high school became human to him, and that's when we started getting along. So
See, I was a human the whole time. Myers just thought I was an annoying human because I
Yeah.
was. I was an annoying human.
Well,
But I remember we started getting close his senior year, and what I would look forward to was driving in the car with him to youth group,
youth group, yeah.
and we would listen to the 1975, and I would
That's
on the
good.
side try to figure out what the songs were, but I would like
That also
record part
annoyed
of
me
it.
because I didn't want her to like the same things as me. I don't
That's
know. I don't
So
know
I tried
why.
to secretly do it, but you used to be able to do this thing on Snapchat where you just hold it down. So I
Yeah.
like hold it over to the side and try to figure out what the song was. But if I couldn't, I would take a short video of myself and I would be like, yeah, I'll go back later and I'll figure out what it is. And I still find those videos sometimes.
that is
and
awesome.
Do I figure out what the song is? Absolutely not. Do I care? Absolutely not. But do I have the videos? Yes.
Yes.
It's kind of like at y'all's high school, you're trying to fit in with the cool kids.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
'Cause it
because
was our high
It
school.
was our high school.
Yeah, you get the homeschool joke that I just
Yeah,
made?
I get it. That was good.
Nice.
You should press the clapping.
That's the second episode in a row. Somebody's asked me to do the clapping thing. We don't have the clapping thing anymore.
Okay, here, I'll do it.
There you go.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's that?
It's fantastic.
You can use that. It's
great.
Later.
Yeah. We'll clip it and
Yeah.
put it into a sound.
Put it
Okay.
on the board.
So, what segment do y'all want to do today? You Whammers? You got any dream segments you want to do, Sally? Sally's listening to almost every episode.
Yeah, Sally's listened to more than I have. I'm sorry, I'm a faker. I have listened to a lot of them though.
I don't know. The only one I can think of is Myers Sports, and I don't really want to do that because, like Myers, I don't care.
See, I also don't
They actually
care.
did Myers Sports last week, even though I wasn't on the episode.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
thought that
listened
was
to that
hilarious.
yet.
Myers-less sport.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we're
was a
calling
little bit sad when I opened it up and you weren't there. Like, what
Aw.
are we gonna do?
So
That's okay.
nice.
Yeah, I didn't even listen to it.
I'll probably end up.
I'll
I'll
go
probably
back.
end up having to record one without Steven when y'all are in Hawaii, because he'll
Wow.
be gone for 2 WOM weeks.
I know.
Whoa.
Wow.
We're going to Hawaii next Thursday.
Ooh.
Crazy.
Oh yeah.
We could do Lean In Girls. Do y'all care about pop culture?
No.
No.
We should do Lean In Girls.
Like the worst girls to
I've got an
have for
idea.
this segment ever.
All right, today's segment that we're going to be doing is great marketing. What is good marketing you saw in the past week that led you to purchase behavior? AKA, what is some kind of marketing that you saw that if you wouldn't have seen it, you wouldn't have bought it, but because you saw it, you then bought it? We need to like pre-record those things. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your intro? Is that what you're saying you need to
Yeah,
pre-record?
like that whole
I was
I
trying to
explanation.
really
figure out what
liked
you
that
meant.
song.
Yeah, it was really
so
good
fun.
intro
reminded
It
me
was
of
Mario Kart.
Okay.
I'm trying to
That's right.
think because I've been trying to specifically not shop because I need
Why not?
to save money.
Okay,
and not
but
spend
wait,
it.
what about
What are you
like, for
saving
your
money for?
registry?
Sally, out of everybody I know, you're probably the person who needs to save the money at least.
I have an answer for you.
You don't have any expenses at all. What are you saving for?
She's
My
getting married.
future. I'm getting married.
You're literally going to have the richest husband on earth.
I don't know about all that.
It's funny hearing Steven talk about finances because he's like not a financially savvy guy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
I
not.
have an answer for you. But the marketing, it was through a person. Like somebody else had this item.
That's crazy. There's
Does that
actually a really
work?
popular type of marketing. What's it called?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Word
There we
of
go.
mouth
Wow.
marketing.
Yeah,
Wow.
word of mouth
Changes the
marketing,
world.
Actually, I bought Weck jars. WECK.
Weck.
They are for sourdough because I've
Oh,
gotten
yeah,
into
yeah.
sourdough making. So I bought 2 of those on Amazon, and then I bought a sourdough spatula, which is
What is
it's
what determines what
smaller,
that is?
and it's just a long spatula that doesn't really have any divots in it. It's just straight so that you can scrape off all of the sourdough into your Weck jar. And I bought those 2 on Amazon because I make sourdough now.
That's awesome.
What's your best design you've made on top of it?
Well, I literally just got my starter. So I have
Oh,
not.
so you haven't made one yet.
No, I'm actually making it when I go home today. I wanted to make it.
It rose today.
Yeah, it's been sitting in my fridge. And I took it out and put it on the counter before I came here. And I'm getting a Dutch oven from Myres so that I can make the sourdough.
Every time I hear the word Dutch oven, even in adult life, I can't help but think like what it means on like Urban Dictionary.
This is awesome because
I don't
that
know
was
what
my
that is.
answer.
Dutch oven?
Yes,
You-
I'm
That's
trying to think-
hilarious. No way.
I'm so serious. Me and Nick have been working on our registry because
Okay.
what else are we going to be doing at this part of planning? And I have like this obsession with Le Creuset. I don't really know
Yeah.
how you say it, but that's
Oh,
how I say it.
it.
And I don't know if it has to do with their marketing or what, but I love soup. I love to make it. I love to eat it.
Soup slays.
It's really good.
Honestly, soup in the wintertime is like top 3.
Like soup at any time. Like
No,
I
no.
frequently
What?
go to a restaurant and get soup.
Soup in the summertime is bottom 3.
I can. I mean, I don't even.
You're telling me right now
you.
you have a bowl of soup.
Yes, I've eaten.
It is
so much
100
soup
degrees
this
I
today.
have witnessed it.
I almost made tomato soup for lunch today when I got back from the pool
You know,
To eat just with that or with
you
a
know,
grilled
Steven,
cheese?
with a quesadilla.
Okay,
Steven.
so you actually like quesadillas. That is a secondary
Steven.
dish at that point. As a
No,
primary
the
dish, you would
soup-
eat soup?
Yes, I frequently do
Steven,
that.
What?
you know,
Nancy?
in other countries, they actually think that you should eat soup when it's hot outside because it raises your body temperature.
Look,
so
man,
they think
everybody
that it cools
always
you
does
down.
this thing where whenever an American has an opinion, they're like, well, you know, in another country. That applies
y'all-
to everything, everywhere, all the time. That
Did-
doesn't mean that it's right.
Did y'all know Stephen went
Just
to
a fun
Europe?
fact.
Everyone, everywhere has opinions all the time.
Yeah, and
Anyways.
you're
Yeah,
saying
well,
yours
you know,
right
in
now.
other countries, they have slavery. In other countries, they kill people. You know, there's a lot of things that other countries do that are
On
bad.
that note, I'm gonna finish my thought here.
Okay.
I make soup a lot, and there are 2 things the recipes often require: 1, a Dutch oven; 2, an immersion blender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't have them, and it's upsetting to me.
What is
every
an
time.
immersion blender?
It's like this, it kind of looks like this microphone, and you,
You
just
know,
like put
you know
it
the
into blend.
hand. You know,
Oh,
the hand
yeah, yeah.
blenders?
Mhm.
It's kind of like that, but it's a
You
tube.
got that weird
and
looking like end
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are 2 things I put on my registry. But Le Creuset, like I can't even explain to you why I love them so much. But the whole time we're looking at,
It's because you and Nick like that like old English.
I mean,
vibe.
probably, but it is like there's so much
Y'all
of
like
it on
some-
my registry.
I
So
like
much.
some dark academia vibes.
Guess so.
You like some libraries with some red walls,
It's true.
I put
hardwood floors.
I put a Porsche 911 on my registry.
You
I
know,
think I saw that actually.
Nobody got it for me, unfortunately. No one wanted to give me a $150,000 wedding present.
I remember showing someone
Selfish.
I thought
your
about it.
registry or talking about your registry with somebody, and the first thing they said was, "Is there a car on there?" And then I opened up the registry, and that was the
And there
first thing
was.
that I saw on there. And I was
Actually,
like,
my
"Yes."
Aunt Bunny gave me a model of a 911.
Did you get
So that
a?
kind
You got a
of
puzzle
counts.
also.
You have an aunt named Bunny?
She's
You
our
got a sister
great
named
aunt.
Ansley, so.
She's our great aunt. I think her first name is actually like Zella. Is that right?
Yeah, and then
But her
Bunt.
last
The
name
Legend of Zelda is about your
Zella,
aunt.
Yes.
not the yeah.
her last name is Buntyn.
yeah.
And it's pronounced Bunny, I think.
I don't know.
Bunton is what it looks like.
Yeah, but we call her
Um,
Aunt Bunny.
We call her Aunt Bunny.
Yeah,
She's like
super nice.
she's our grandfather's younger sister.
Mhm.
And she's the one who always hosted family Thanksgiving and family Easter
Wait, so
meals.
you would do Thanksgiving with that many family? Like
Oh,
with
yeah.
your
Like big.
Yeah. So
Really?
our grandfather, my mom's dad, he was one of 7, and so my mom grew up with like a ton of cousins and stuff.
And each of his parents had like 10 to 13 siblings also.
Yeah.
So there's so many
Wow.
cousins.
That's like-
a lot of cousins.
They do
then-
that with our family too. They call it the farm, or that's at least what we call it. We call it going to the farm or Troy.
Or the Festivus.
Or the Festivus.
Well, I like
that's
that.
Funny.
But Troy, like the farm, is like if everybody goes, there'd be like 100 people there.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Everyone.
everybody. My grandmother has 8 brothers, so
Wow.
no 7 brothers. She's the 8th.
Yeah.
Myers is
And all
the
their families
oldest
together.
of all of the
Yeah.
grandchildren, like this generation.
So, like our
Oh.
aunt, the one in Chattanooga,
Mhm.
she didn't have any kids, and my mom only has one sibling, and then so we hung out with all the cousins.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that
But
makes
it went
sense.
Myers, and then Gracie was the only one that separated me and Myers.
Yeah.
And then
And she's like a year older than you or something.
less than that, she's
Yeah,
like 8
really
months.
close. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she has she has 3 siblings, but there's 2 more siblings, and then Chloe. And then it jumps to like small children.
Yeah, all the cousins are like way younger than us, and they're what are they first cousins once removed or something? 2 second cousins or something.
they're far
a
away.
little bit distant, but anyway,
Some of them
never,
I don't know their names. I feel bad.
Yeah,
I've known them their entire life, and I don't know their names.
I never loved those family gatherings only because none of the cousins were my age, so I didn't have anyone to hang out with. So it wasn't
mildly
fun to
awkward.
me. And then when I became a slightly older person, I would just hang out with the adults.
And then I wanted to go hang out with the adults, but Gracie didn't want to be around the adults, and she was the only one my age. And
You know-
so I was at the kids' table permanently.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in this interesting lane now whenever I go hang out with my family, because like when we go hang out at a box house, all of us are old enough now to where we're like all the adult table, which is fascinating because none of us. Well, I guess
Yeah.
Seth and Molly just had a kid, so we're about to start that whole thing.
Just
Um,
put the baby at a different table.
Ollie's by himself.
Mimi and Pop's house, we like are. I mean, you're like about to be freaking married. Like that's gonna be. Like you're gonna be at the adult table. Now, like now, I relate with.
could put
It's like
Sam at
weird.
the
I
other
relate
table.
with.
They're still not putting me at the adult table.
Put
Like-
Sam
They're
at
gonna
the other
put Nick
table.
with
He's
the
not
boy
married.
Put Sam at the
cousins
kids' table.
and put me at the girl kids table.
Yeah, but it is weird. Like showing up now, I feel like I relate more with my aunts and uncles than I do with my cousins.
Well, the
They're
cousins
all, like,
that are your age
super young.
usually can't come.
Yeah.
So like,
Shout out Caleb and all the doctors from Eufaula.
Yeah.
That's funny. The people who shot the deer out of their backyard, they're the doctors.
they're the doctors. It's true.
And us
Is that the
sophisticated.
Bushes?
The
Yes.
bushes. Yes.
I worked on their insurance.
We get it. They've actually, it's kind of been crazy how they've never used.
I spent hours working on their insurance and then they didn't buy it.
What?
That's so on brand. It's crazy.
It happens.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's so fascinating though. Okay. But La Crusette Dutch oven, and then Ansley, what was yours?
Weck jars?
Weck jars. That's right. So cooking things. Are y'all big cooks? Like, what do y'all do? Like
Yes.
in your average week, what are you eating for breakfast on average? What are you eating for lunch on average? And what are you eating for dinner on average?
I can tell you,
Okay.
especially during the school year. For breakfast, I'm having sausage eggs, ground
Every
sausage,
day?
scrambled in
Yummy.
eggs. Almost every day. That's my favorite breakfast. High protein,
Shout out Susan.
good for my blood sugar. Yes, thank you, Susan, for sharing.
She made that every day of our life.
Yes, that and strawberries is likely going to be my breakfast. And then for lunch, I'm having soup. I've pre-made soup for the week that I'm eating for lunch. I'm
That
not
is
even-
so weird.
I mean, it's easy to take to school.
I
to
like
class,
soup
to
because it's
clinical.
really easy to
Just stick
take
it in the
and
microwave.
stick in the microwave.
Yeah. It's got veggies.
If
in
it's like
it.
a
It's got
freaking
protein
hard,
in
if it's
it.
like a
Well-rounded.
chili, chili during football
Chili's
season,
so good.
golly, like
Some salty
November
crackers.
chili. Oh man, fires me up thinking
June
about it.
chili.
June
Out of the
chili.
Dutch oven.
June chili sounds like spraying
Out of a
sunscreen in
Dutch
your
oven.
mouth.
Not really. Don't have one yet. That
What?
was crazy.
That was wild. That was
Oh my
wild.
gosh, bold
Why would you
statements.
do that? It's like, what are you like? It's like drinking hot coffee on the beach. It just doesn't make sense.
if you're sitting in like a cool house eating a bowl of soup, I don't see the problem.
Like a cool
Ansley,
house, like
where
a
do you
cool house, like
stand
a
on-
vibey house,
Like
or like a
cold.
cold
Okay.
house.
Soup
Here's
in
the
the
thing.
summer?
Here's the thing. Okay, I think I'm gonna probably get a lot of flack for this. I've only had 3 bowls of
I
soup in my
forgot-
entire
I forgot
life.
about that.
And
The heck is
that
wrong with
doesn't
you?
surprise me because Ansley had
3.
mac and cheese for the first time freshman year of college.
You like a pizza and chicken fingers type of girl?
No, I used to be a picky eater, and I emphasize used to be because now most of the people that I interact with would say that I am not, and I do not claim that anymore. I will
That's
try
another
anything.
way that I used to torture Ansley. One time,
my
we
gosh.
made one
Like, eat
time,
a green bean,
one
freak.
time we had
Okay.
rice
No.
for dinner, and I took 1 grain of
No,
rice. and-
here's the thing.
and I put it in Ansley's water, and she like lost it.
I
That
didn't
is
eat
something
rice
Stephen would do
freaked.
to me.
until my senior year of high school because of that. But here's the thing.
Why didn't you like rice?
Here's the thing.
I was
Okay.
like, rice
Like when
tastes
you were,
like
when you were a
nothing.
kid.
No, let me explain what was going on. Okay, so I thought Myers was being nice to me for the first time ever. He was like, "Ansley, do you want some more water? Like you look like you're running low." I was like, "Oh my gosh, Myers, that's so nice. Like, yeah, I would love some more water." Because usually he was torturing me, and so I was like, "Oh my."
He was
gosh,
like, I'm gonna
a
poop in
scrap
your
of
water and shove it down your
a
mouth.
scrap of kindness, thank you, sir. And he comes back, and I drink the whole cup, and I'm thinking like, oh, like this tastes kind of weird because it was it fried rice? It was some sort of like
yeah,
flavored.
it was like a fried rice. It was
rice.
a cooked rice.
Dude, mom used to
Seasoned
freaking
rice?
serve brown rice with like onions in it growing up all the time. I
Onions
forgot
and
about that.
mushrooms.
Mushrooms,
it
yeah.
it flavored the water, and it really wasn't that much rice. But in my recollection, it was like at least a handful.
No, it was like probably 3 grains of
But
rice.
in
like,
my
It probably
mind-
didn't taste weird at all.
In my mind, I was like, "What the heck?" And I drank the whole cup of water before I looked
Why
at the
doesn't
bottom.
this taste like pepperoni pizza?
Why doesn't this water taste like Sprite?
Anyway, so
This tastes
I
weird.
was really mad.
This
and
tastes
I
weird.
cried, and I
Mom.
didn't eat rice until my senior year of high school, because of that. But yeah, I was
You're like,
really
I just
picky
imagine
eater.
you at the Chipotle line with your friends. Like
We
you're
didn't
like
have
a
Chipotle
junior.
in Mississippi.
Just go with it for a second.
Okay.
You're like junior in high school, and you like go to Chipotle with your friends, and your friends are like, "Oh my gosh, you gotta try this place," and you're like homeschooler, like you go in, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta impress these girls," and then you like walk in, and they're like, "What kind of rice do you want?" And you just like you're like, oh my gosh, I actually just pooped my pants. I'm sorry, I have to go. My mom's actually here to pick me up. I'm so sorry, guys. And
So
you like run away with your hair over your face. That's what I'm imagining.
That was another crazy thing.
I think I was in high school.
That was just my generic
crazy.
like homeschool girl.
None of what you just said was anything like I was in high school, which is so interesting to me. But
Well, no, actually, some of it was, and that was you being afraid of rice. That was true. That was the one part that was true.
okay.
The rest of it was absolutely ridiculous.
I didn't really care what other
They
people
don't have
thought about me.
Chipotle in Mississippi.
Well, now they do, but they didn't at the time. We went to Moe's. But I got tacos.
Oh,
Anyway, so I just didn't try things.
no rice on the tacos.
No.
You're
Why not?
blaming
I
Myers
eat rice
for the
now,
fact
but I
that you
still
never
wouldn't put
tried
rice on my
foods?
tacos. Huh?
Myers gets the blame for that.
Oh, no.
because
He
of
was
this
just the only
rice?
reason I didn't try rice.
Wait, so why didn't you like rice? Like
I
when
just
you
had
were a
never
kid?
tried it, and he was mad that I hadn't tried it, and that's
It
why he
was
put
like
it in
a
my
whole
water.
thing when we were growing up. My parents would make something, and
That was like really delicious and like
Yeah,
intricately.
Dude,
Our-
Sally
our
was
mom
the
is a
same way when
really-
she was a senior in high school. I'm not even gonna lie.
our mom is a really great chef. Both our
In
parents
what
are.
way?
Like when you were a senior in high school, I remember it was like with LaCroix or like something. And I was like, dude, Sally, just try it. And you were like, no. Like it was
didn't
like
want to.
tomatoes or something like that. I don't remember. It was something that was good. Maybe Brussels, roasted Brussels.
That was probably it. I
And you were
still
like,
don't
no, like I'm just gonna eat chicken and mac and cheese. And I was like, I can't wait till you go to Sanford one day. I think I literally said that. And you're like, what? Like, no, I'm not
I
gonna
was
change.
so bothered by that.
And
I
I was like,
don't even remember
okay,
it, but I know that.
So-
whatever, bro. And then now, lo and
Do you
behold,
want
I
to? Do you
still
want to
don't eat
know why I'm
Brussels,
not a
so-
picky eater anymore?
why are you not a picky anymore? Because
Because
the dude you dated
no.
is a
Be-
chef.
No, I was not a picky eater before him, but also his mom was the one that told my family that she was surprised that I was ever a picky eater, which to me felt like an accomplishment. But anyway,
Level 3 unlocked.
Yes. So my junior year of high school, I felt like the Lord was calling me into mission work overseas.
Oh, you like out of Africa and stuff?
No, I felt like he wanted me to go to Nepal. And so I was like,
Isn't that in Africa? I'm kidding.
I was like, how in the world am I supposed to move to a country where they eat primarily only rice if I don't like rice? And also, how am I supposed to move overseas and be a missionary somewhere if I can't eat food? And in certain cultures, if you reject food, like that's so offensive. Like so offensive.
You just showed up. You're like, this doesn't taste like mac and cheese.
I don't like mac and cheese.
Excuse me,
didn't try it
Mr.
till
Nepal
freshman year
man.
of
Hi,
college.
Mr. Nepal man. I know that you gave me beans and rice, but can I have pizza?
Mr. Mount Everest. Do you have? You're at like base camp and they give you like camp food. You're like, oh, excuse me, do y'all have Papa John's?
Why does she talk
How
like
close?
that?
How
This is
close
sort of like
Why is my mouth
this
so
is my
small?
this is my character of like you're a
A picky
homeschooler who's
eater.
never been exposed to the world. That's why you don't like rice. That's the character I'm kind of going with right now. So that's like how you would talk if you
Sally, what is
interacted
your
with the world.
perception of homeschool people?
Not that.
Thank
Because
God.
Stephen
that at
loves to
all.
make fun of homeschool people, but then like half of our friends are homeschooled.
I also work
Half.
with multiple homeschoolers, and they are significantly better employees than my other coworkers.
That's probably you probably think that because you're homeschooler. No, I personally don't think that homeschoolers are that different than real people, but I do think that homeschoolers when they were being homeschooled versus other people like when they were in public school, those two types of people very different. Now once
That
y'all are
I
in the
agree
in the
with.
real world and everybody's kind of commingling, everybody's kind of the same. But
Yeah.
sometimes whenever I was in high school, I would hang out with some homeschoolers or some people that went to Tabernacle, which was the local Christian school, and they were just a little bit different, you know. I feel like that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Just a different type of living. Don't eat rice. I also was kind of a picky eater in high school too. I like really hated cauliflower. I thought cauliflower was the grossest thing on earth. I still don't really love cauliflower unless it's like a meat supplement. If that makes any sense. Like in like
Really?
Whole30 or
It's a
something.
really interesting circumstance to like cauliflower in.
Yeah, I don't
When
know
you're
why.
like pretending to be vegan.
Well, the few times I've done
Fake.
Whole30, cauliflower is the only thing that compares to like the thickness of meat.
Mm.
So that's really
It is
all.
like vegans use it as like they'll make cauliflower burgers and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
You
when-
can cook it in big, thick
Cauliflower
patty
crust
version.
pizza is really good.
When we were growing up, it was like a whole thing with Ansley being a picky eater because my parents would cook something and then like not let her leave the table until she at least tried like the green beans.
I would literally
or something.
cry.
Yeah, and it
It's
was
just
like
crazy
It
to
was
me.
so drama.
It was a debacle.
Yeah.
So like, what you actually never told us why you became not a picky eater anymore.
Because I wanted to be able to go and move overseas and be able to try any food without making a face.
So like, what was your first thing you tried whenever that you started that process?
Sushi.
Wow, you jumped head first.
Yeah.
Sushi took me a while to kind of.
I love sushi.
What did you think when you ate it for the first time?
I thought the texture was interesting,
Yeah.
but I liked it. I guess technically the first thing would have been rice because I went on a mission trip to Colombia and I tried everything that they had there. And it was delicious, everything.
So
And then I came back and I was disappointed by the American rice because the rice in Colombia was so good.
earlier you said you didn't try. I was like, why don't you like rice? And your reasoning was because I had never had it before.
Yeah, and so if I hadn't had something, I would say I didn't like it.
Okay, talk to me more about that.
I was in denial.
I don't think that's what
Maybe
that
that's
was.
not the word. I don't know.
Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, well, why do you think when you were eating food, and because you hadn't had something before, why do you think that? Why did you not want to try it?
I don't know. I did have a lot of food anxiety for a while.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it just feels a little bit not middle talk to jump into that.
Okay. So when you looked at food, like, and you were like, I've never tried rice before.
I was
It
very
would be
sensitive to
unsafe.
textures.
I would be unsafe. Oh, okay. So it might feel weird in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's what you're afraid of. The reason I
it was
asked this
if
is
it was a
because
certain texture, it would trigger my gag reflex, and then I would like.
That's what I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
think she was probably afraid of throwing up.
Yeah.
So how'd you turn that off? Like whenever you were like it was just because like you were like, I have to go to Nepal. You're like, I'm holding
No,
it down.
I really wanted to. I wanted to like rice, and so I would just try it with things. And
Yeah.
because I ate it with other things, the texture wasn't as like apparent.
Sure.
And then now I can eat it by itself because I've grown accustomed to it.
Yeah.
But that's
The
why
reason
don't eat eggs.
I ask this is because I have a guy in my small group. His name's Ben.
Oh.
And he's a chicken finger kind of guy. Chicken nugget specifically. And he doesn't even like burgers because
Dude.
burgers, quote, grow in his mouth, end quote.
Guess you're gonna die. You wanna know how I would eat my burgers?
No bun. I guess I'm trying
Here's
to.
what I would do. I would get the patty and I would eat it with ketchup, and then I would get the bun and I would put chips in it, and I would eat the bun with chips in between it, and then cut up the patty.
I have a
and eat it
feeling
with
that
ketchup.
my like made up character might be a little real. Like everything I'm learning, I'm like, this is kind of
This
spot
is just
on.
my relationship with food. That's not how I interact with others. I've always been a very social person. I did talk like this. My mom said I came out the womb talking.
That makes sense.
She talked a lot.
So it's kind of crazy to me that just this whole like, because I really like, so the first time that you put rice into your mouth, did you have a gag reflex?
No.
So it was just the fear of having a gag reflex that held you from doing it.
I wouldn't have said that it was the fear of having a gag reflex. That might have been like the root of it, but I was just afraid of trying food because I didn't want to dislike it. I didn't want it to taste bad.
That's deep. That's super metaphorical.
Like, Stephen, what is a food you don't like?
Tomatoes.
Yeah, tomato. Like
we
if,
make
if
fun
like,
of Stephen for not liking tomatoes.
if
all the time.
tomatoes are like, I do like tomatoes, but like only to a certain extent.
So, like, if I put a tomato in front of you and say, do you want to eat this? Like, you're probably just going to say no. Like, you just don't want, sometimes you just don't want to eat a food.
Yeah.
You just not want to try it.
What?
Like, you're really questioning her on this. Like, why would you not eat the food? Sometimes you just don't want to.
Yeah.
Going back to your story about me from high school, sometimes you just don't want to try it.
Also, sometimes it would look funny, and I just didn't want to try it. Not specifically with rice, but like some kind of food would look funny, and I wouldn't want to try it.
Well, I think the reason that I'm trying to decipher this so much is because I've been trying to figure out specifically like why Ben doesn't like trying new things. Because to me, the reason that I want them, like someone to try it, is because I know it tastes good. And I know that they'll think it tastes good if they give it a shot, and they're withholding themselves like pleasure from the food. So that's like that motive on the giver end of the food seems like a better, superior, ethical move than just like, I don't know if I want to like actually dislike another food.
I really like trying unique foods, and I've always been very adventurous in the way that I eat. If I go to a restaurant that I've been to, if I go to a restaurant, I will often try and find something that looks interesting. And if I go to a restaurant many, many times, I'm the guy who's probably tried most of the things on the menu. And so I think for me, at least, if you wanted to like reverse engineer why I like so many different kinds of food, is because it's a very like adventurous thing for me, and I always like new experiences, new places, new foods. So it could be like a fear of the unknown, or like
That's a great point.
an inability to embrace the adventure of the unknown.
I also had a big fear
Or
of
reluctance.
change, so those can
That's
kind of
true, yeah.
go together.
I'd say the same. I was a pretty picky eater, and I'm not very adventurous. I never have been. I'm very much in my comfort zone, so that could very well be the reason.
That's funny.
Never thought about it.
I was
that way.
super adventurous Ansley was super conservative. Ansley was super talkative. I was super quiet, and we've both kind of like merged on those fronts. That I have a podcast. I talk a lot now, and I'm very extroverted. And she's very adventurous and travels and tries new food and.
Okay,
I'll try anything once now.
This is also a random question, but me and Ansley were eating dinner the other night, and I posed this question because she was like trying to decide what to get off the menu, and she like told the waiter, she's like, "Is this whatever it was? Is this good?" And the waiter was like, "Yeah, like it's fantastic." And Ansley's like, "Well, like, what does it taste like?" Ansley asked her in 3 different ways, and every time she's like,
I was gonna say she probably hadn't actually
"I
had
don't
it.
know, like it's just great." Like I don't even like this-
pineapple in
yeah,
it.
pineapple.
And
She's
she was like,
I don't even
"Oh, it
like
just tastes kinda
pineapple, but
pineapple-y."
she's like, I don't even like pineapple, but this is like every time it
Where
just
were y'all?
hits. House of Found Objects.
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
She was like, "Do you like pineapple?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, you'd love it."
Well, she walked away, and
It's
I was
the
like,
main ingredient.
Ansley, because Ansley ended up getting it, and
Was it
I was
good?
like,
Did
Ansley,
was it pineapple-y?
It was good, and it was minorly pineapple-y, but
Did it hit?
no.
but Ansley,
lied.
I was like, she's never had that before.
She was so passionate. I believed her wholeheartedly.
Ansley was like, "What?" Like I was like, "She for sure." You asked her 3 different times how it tastes, and she couldn't tell you one time. And
That's
so
funny.
my question that I posed to the group was like, I don't know, like y'all worked in coffee, but not like restaurant business. Like, you know, when you go to a restaurant and you ask them like, "What's your favorite thing?" or like, "How's this dish?" Like, what percentage of the time have they actually tried that? Because they all, I
Do
feel
you
like they
think they're
always give you some
truthful when
BS.
when
Like
they
she was giving
respond and
Ansley
BS?
some BS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in coffee, I always said I liked a cappuccino, and most people want like something with sugar in it. So not that many people actually tried a cappuccino because of me.
Yeah. I actually have worked in the restaurant industry before, Holiday Inn Express poolside server.
I worked at
Um,
Chick-fil-A, but I was in
And
the
I
kitchen.
did have to try. And I also worked at Topgolf. So I did.
Did you
work at
actually? I
something-
didn't. I don't think I
didn't
knew
know
that.
About that.
Yeah, I worked at Topgolf for like 3 or 4 months.
Is an ode to Topgolf.
That's all it is. It was a beautiful time in my life. Me and Tucker Vines, friend of the pod. We used to work there together. It's hilarious.
Shout out
Least favorite part about working at Topgolf. Every single time the wobble came on, you had to stop whatever you were doing and dance to the wobble.
Are you serious?
Every single
That's
time. I don't know if
crazy.
they're still doing that, but they
That
had to
cannot
do
be
that whenever
real.
I was there.
That's crazy.
But we would like, we had to try the whole menu at Topgolf and at Holiday Inn Express so that we could actually answer those things. So that's why I like at House Found Objects or HOFO. HOFO is definitely seems like the type of place that they would have to try the entire menu
Yeah.
before they served it.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't do that in one sitting though. That was another thing we were talking about.
That
Yeah,
would
that's
be
true.
a challenge.
That would be a challenge, but also like to get a job at like a bar that's that nice, it has to like surely those
For
guys
sure.
have tried everything, but it is like a fancy new drink, so it's probably just like a summer. It was probably
She
just a
was
summer drink.
raving about it. I was like, oh.
Some people are
must be
also just
good.
not articulate.
Yeah,
No, but like we had been having conversation with her. Like the
Yeah.
whole she like told me and Genevieve, like, "Oh, that's great." But then
Yeah.
Ansley like explicitly asked her how it tasted, and she could not.
she
She
couldn't.
could not.
She couldn't articulate.
And how many times has that happened to you?
Oh,
You know? Anyways, it's not really that deep of a question, but
I
it's
like
just
I like
interesting.
hate it sometimes too, because whenever I ask the barista or the server or the whatever, like like, hey, what should I get, or like, what do you like here? I always feel pressure to get what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes they say something that's
oftentimes, if
bad.
they're like nerdy enough to actually work at like a bougie restaurant, like if they're like that into it, that means they're probably into some funky stuff. And you know, I show up and I'm like, essentially, like I sit down in every restaurant. I'm like, okay, am I getting like the red meat or the white meat? Like that's a kind of like whatever sauce is like according to them, you know, in their lane. Like that's kind of what I'm doing. Like if I show up at Helen, I'm like, do I get the duck or chicken, or do I get the Wagyu steak or, you know, burger? Or if I sit down at East West, I'm like, do I get the chicken wings or do I get the Mongolian beef? Like it's whatever ethnicity that plate or that like cuisine is. It's just like either like red meat or white meat. And I feel like they're always just like out of nowhere. They're like, oh, the roasted cauliflower is amazing. I'm like,
Yeah.
golly, dude.
No thanks.
I'm not trying to explore. Like, I just want you to give me
not a
like,
vegan.
what's the most bought thing here, essentially?
Yeah.
Okay, but in that girl, what was her name? Mary Rose. In Mary Rose's defense, when people ask me at Seeds what some of our seasonal menu items taste like our espresso lemonade, I genuinely do not know how to articulate that to you, but it's good.
Yeah, I feel like with coffee, it's kind of like, dude, this tastes like coffee with the flavor that it says that, like,
It
tastes
exactly
like if you
what
put
would
a shot of
picture.
espresso in lemonade.
And then we
Like,
also have a watermelon tonic that is really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to articulate
I mean, I
that
guess
to
you,
as well.
I guess you just like break it down for them, and you're like, well, tonic water's kind of bitter, it's sparkling, and then watermelon is a fruit that's sweet. Like,
And then we put
That's
nerds
better
on the
than what
rim.
this girl
Like,
said.
it's
Because
like,
maybe they legitimately like don't know what. Like, I think about like a espresso lemonade. I bet some people like genuinely have no idea
yeah, some people might not know what
like,
espresso is or something.
why someone would have done that or how they would do it.
I
So
don't
you just
know
get
how.
explain.
I don't know how Shelby came up with it, but it makes me physically angry that it tastes good.
Wait, Shelby did not come up with that.
She came up with our menu
super
items.
Popular espresso drink. That's a but that
No,
kind
like the
of
watermelon tonic.
the watermelon tonic. I've never
That
heard of that
sounds
before.
good,
That
yeah.
thing's freaking
Like
good.
all of those things. I don't.
Seasonal drinks are always good.
I make coffee lemonade at home.
Oh,
That's a common thing.
I didn't know that was a common thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she came up with the watermelon thing.
Ansley, you sold that when you worked at Little Professor.
Espresso
I did?
lemonade.
Yes.
Yeah,
You almost made it for me one time.
I think they did have that.
Really?
Yes.
I forgot you
Yeah,
worked at LP. Those were the days. Old location.
Dude, that was one of my favorite jobs. I literally just sat there and I read
What was it like
books.
witnessing Maddie and Mitch like fall in love? Didn't you work there at the same time as them?
I never interacted with either of them ever.
Really? I thought you worked
Huh.
there when Maddie was there.
I probably did, but when you work on shift, you don't work with anyone else.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
There's
that
one
makes
person
sense.
at there.
Also, like, what was it like to work at LP, like a bookstore, primarily a bookstore, secondarily a coffee shop, versus Seeds, which is just a coffee shop?
So when I worked at LP, I literally just sat there and I read books until someone wanted brewed coffee because almost never was espresso drink ordered. Like almost
Yeah.
never did I make anything with the espresso machine.
Fascinating.
It was kind of sad though because I really wanted to make coffee
Yeah.
because I missed working in coffee
Mm-hmm.
because I've been working in coffee since I was in high school.
Shout out Cups.
Shout out Cups. I don't recommend it. But
What's the good one in Jackson called?
Native.
Native.
Yeah, but Native was 45 minutes from my house.
Oh.
It didn't open until my
I asked
senior year.
Myers this other day. Speaking of, this is going to derail the conversation a little
Okay,
bit.
we-
Finish what
we-
you're saying.
Oh,
then-
well, the difference is one, I sat there and then I gave people drip coffee and I had to remember their names so I could put it into the system because they got it for free because I had a membership. And then now I'm at Seeds and they won't let me pull an espresso shot until I am actually trained on the espresso machine, even though I know how to pull an espresso shot and everything is automatic. And so I wouldn't have to do anything
They are
except
kind of
tamp
like
it.
freaks about
Dude,
that. for
Brett
some
is
reason.
on top of people. You have to be trained before you can serve a customer an espresso shot. So I can make my drinks all the time or a drink for my friend, but unless I am trained, which I haven't had my training shift for the bar yet because I started in the kitchen, then I can't pull a shot for somebody else.
Yeah. Their espresso machine did catch on fire last year, though.
They have a new one.
Yeah,
It's
well-
actually one of only
How does
two
an
of that
espresso machine-
kind of espresso machine in the entire country.
How does it catch on
Really? That one
fire?
is?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's new.
Huh.
But it automatically weighs out the espresso glass, and then it's preset to a certain whatever. And you
Is it
just,
La
pretty
Marzocco?
down.
I can't remember.
I think it is, but it's
Yeah.
like it's like a new kind of
Mm-hmm.
a new.
Yeah, Seeds
Model, if you
Seeds
will.
must like crank out some money. That place is like crazy busy all the
If
time.
you work an event, you could come away with like close to $1,000 just from working the event as
Really?
the employee working the event.
Because of tips or because
Because of tips and then also the wages that you make when you're working there.
wow.
You can
That's
make
pretty sick. How much
big.
does it cost to do an event there? That's a random cue. Me and Redeemer College are thinking about hosting one there.
I
That
don't
would be
know
awesome.
if I could give you an answer.
The last
to
time
that.
somebody hosted an event there, it cost $200. So I was curious if it was like the same.
Probably.
It was still super cheap.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because I guess you still have to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably buy like a set amount of drinks, and then if anything goes over,
Well, I was saying like if it might be cheap if you don't buy any. Because like
yeah.
the last people that did
just
it was
use
like
the space.
they just kept it open for 2 hours, or 4 hours. While whoever played, it was Ratio had a concert.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's actually an event going on there tonight.
What is it?
I have no idea. I just know that they told us not to shut the espresso machine down when I left work.
Nice.
One other thing I wanted to talk about before we wrapped was it's funny that y'all are friends because me and Stephen are friends, but y'all became friends kind of independently of us.
A little bit. Also, Steven set us up on a friend date.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
I wasn't
That's
sure.
what kickstarted
I wasn't
it.
sure
Became
how
good
y'all.
friends, though.
No,
how
we
did y'all
became
become
good friends
friends?
independently of that.
Yeah. Well, we went on that like little dinner date,
Yeah.
if you'll call it that.
Our first date.
Yeah.
Love.
That was really fun. We were both like literally so nervous,
Mm-hmm.
and for what I don't know, but
I
it
was
was like
stressed.
the first time I've been like went to hang out with someone like just us two, like never meeting them before or hanging out
It was
with them
crazy.
in
It was
any
like a
other
blind
setting.
date.
And also I just like knew like Steven was like the coolest person in the world to me, and so were all of his friends, and now I'm like hanging out with his friend's little sister that I also think is the coolest person.
You're the
Anyways.
coolest person, Sally.
There you go. Anyways, but we didn't really hang out after that. We went
No.
on an Al Pal.
Yeah, that was, I took you on an Alpha just because I
Yeah.
wanted to hang out with you.
And then I think I'm
That's
trying
a,
to remember.
That's a Kaio thing.
Yeah, it's like the
Okay.
big
Kyle
little
hangout
dates
thing.
before you get your little.
Yeah.
What's a big little?
So it's like big sister, little sister, and in a sorority, you get put into different families, and they're basically like your point people for different events. So like your big would be similar to a mentor within the sorority, so that you have somebody to walk you through your first year in the sorority, but then you continue to be
Yeah.
good friends. Hopefully, I was not good friends with my big,
Yeah.
but
Ansley's not my big though, so that's
No.
not the point.
Who is your
her-
big? I always forget. Genevieve.
Genevieve. Maddie is Genevieve's. Very relevant. Anyways, Ansley's
Hmm. Shout out
car
Genevieve.
was infested with ants, and that was crazy.
oh my gosh,
And really
that was
funny.
my worst day of college.
Wait, that was the second time we went to hang out.
That was
Anyways,
actually my
then we
worst day
didn't
of
hang out
college.
again until like Step Sing, and that's when we really became good friends at Step Sing Ignite Frogs,
Shout out Ignite.
and it was so
We
fun.
painted our feet
Yeah,
green
and we were
and
like,
yellow.
why haven't we been hanging out this much? This is kind of a waste. And so we started hanging out more. And then sophomore year,
We hung out constantly.
it was like every single day. Like, okay, we go into like June today. See,
which
like,
coffee shop are we going to?
Yeah, like
Were
every
you
day.
studying?
Yeah,
I'll be
and
there.
I would go
See you
study.
in
I
10.
would never actually study.
LOL. Oh, college.
We went to
So
concerts
college.
together, and every single function for the rest of college I went to
Yeah.
with Sally.
Wow.
Yeah, Ansley's one of my best friends now, which is
It's
really
kinda
funny
nuts.
because
Kinda
they're
funny.
best friends. We're best friends, I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So it's funny. And also, I was thinking about this the other day, like for like the connections that are happening here. Like we've never hung out us four. Which I don't know in
Yeah, we
what
were talking
setting
about
that
that.
would happen.
Not like on purpose. This is probably the first time we've ever done it on purpose.
But like
Yeah.
just us four, like with no other people.
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
This is
Funny.
the first time that has ever
Like the
happened.
four of us have been in the same room conversating with each other
Yeah.
plenty of times, but the four of us actually like being together on purpose, planning it. This is definitely the first time. It's crazy.
That's funny. I've never thought about that.
That is wild. Ansley, do you think you'll ever go back to Jackson, Mississippi? That was the
No.
question I was going to ask earlier.
No.
Do you think that you'll ever like want to, like you'll ever like, miss it?
Absolutely not.
Wow. Do you think your parents will ever
No.
miss it?
No.
That is wild.
My mom
Did they
didn't
sell
want
the
to
house
live
yet?
there to begin
It is
with.
Mississippi, so
No, they had somebody look at it, and they're hoping that this buyer.
They've had like 3 or 4 showings since they.
Do you think they're just
listed
gonna, as soon as they sell it, they're gonna just live in an apartment over here until they
No, they're looking at a couple different houses.
already?
Yeah, they have some.
Where are the ones that they're looking at? No.
Crestwood? Was there one in Crestwood?
No, they've never looked in Crestwood. They've looked at Forest Park and the
Crestline?
Preserve. I don't know if I've looked at one in
What about that
Crestline.
new one that they looked at that they really liked?
There's one in like sort of Cahaba Heights that they like that has a indoor basketball,
That
like
one was
half court
crazy.
basketball thing.
It was
So it's like a double tall garage
Oh, cool.
with a basketball court in it, or a half court.
Oh, that'd be
is
sick. You
really
throw a
cool.
pickleball court in there.
Yeah,
Leave all your cars.
yeah.
Once
I'll
you get
leave
'em.
all my cars there.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy. That would be sick. You should tell them to buy it.
I did. Every house that they've sent to me, I've said, "Oh, you should buy."
They
that
found
one.
a lot of cool
Every
houses.
single
It's just
house has
like,
said that.
they can't put an offer in until they sell their house.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a waiting game.
But genuinely, the fact that my parents are moving to Mississippi, part of the reason that excites me is because I
To-
don't
to
have to
Alabama.
go. Moving from Mississippi to Alabama is because I don't have to go back to Mississippi ever.
Wow.
That is how I feel.
It's kind of awesome though.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day. I don't understand how people enjoy their hometown. Like that idea, concept, baffling to me.
You know, I enjoy Gardendale a lot more now, but I feel like for me, it wasn't one thing that I've been thinking about a lot, and you will definitely experience this too. Now that you're officially in post grad land,
Now that I'm a real human.
now that you're a real human, that's honestly kind of paralleled for real homeschooler to real person, and then Sanford student to real person being in post grad. It's kind of a
Yeah.
parallel. But anyways, I feel like it's so interesting living in the same city as all of my siblings because we never have like uninterrupted long time together. It's always interrupted and it's always short, but it's frequent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I spend like 2 hours with my family like once a week or once every other week, but I never like spend the night at my parents' house. Like every single time that I ask Gracie if she wants to spend the night at my parents' house, she's like, let's just go home. You know?
Yeah.
So I never even, and then also
It's
like,
tough to
Being a
not
married
sleep in
person,
your own
that
bed.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
To me.
yeah, it totally makes sense. I'm always like, it's the right idea. But I really, really liked whenever I lived in North Carolina for the year, whenever I came home, I was like at home
lot more
with my like direct
intentional
people. And then like
purposeful.
when my family came to North Carolina, it was like just us.
Yeah.
I really do miss that part of
See,
it.
whenever I think about hanging out with my family, I love spending time with my family. I love being around them. I love like being in the same house as them, being able to play games, eating
Yeah.
dinner together, like spending good time with them. But when I think about going to Mississippi, there's nothing I'd rather do less.
Interesting.
And so the fact that they're coming to Alabama
Oh,
is
that's
really
gonna be
exciting
sick.
to me because I get to spend that same time with them frequently, but I don't have to go to Mississippi.
Yeah.
Sally, do you think that if our parents lived on this side of Birmingham with us, do you think we would see them the same or more?
Probably the same. Maybe like a little more because it would be easier to just like
Pop in.
last night. Mom sent us a picture of this huge meal and was like, "Is anyone hungry?" And I was like, "No, like I've already eaten dinner. You're like 25 minutes away from here." But if she was 5 minutes down the road,
Yeah.
I would for sure pop over there and eat dinner. And I feel like that would be a really normal thing.
Yeah.
But like, if it's like more than 10 minutes away, that's just like a hassle to like, like I have
So true.
plans, but
I feel like
really like not like good time.
if they did live over here, like they'd probably live in like Cahaba Heights or Vestavia. I'm just assuming they live in like the Gardendale version of like South Birmingham. And I just feel like it would still be the same thing. I would just be like,
think so, too.
I don't know if I can make it all the way out to Gardendale. I don't feel like the same thing about Vestavia or something like that, or Hoover.
I
But
agree.
no,
I also agree with what you're saying. Like, I feel like our family dynamic is very different because like when Ansley goes home, she's like got the younger siblings and
yeah.
everyone's all over the place. And also when we're home, like our parents, like, I guess they're like more not demanding of our presence, but like if we're there, like we're going to be there.
Yeah.
I haven't witnessed a lot of other families being like that. So I feel like when we're all around, we are out there, but it is very short increments, but
Yeah.
good thing we're going out of town as a family next week.
That's right. Honestly, I'm
Lots of good time.
very excited for Hawaii next week for that like very reason. Like
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be so much fun to like just hang, and especially because like our parents have they bought a like one of the rooms that's like a suite with like a porch and stuff on it.
That's cool.
And I'm like so into this game called Monopoly Deal right now. I'm like so into it, and I'm just like I am just like so stoked to play it.
Just
Like
like
all week
play
long.
that at night, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. But no, I mean I think that family is such a fun thing, and it is really cool that Myres and I didn't become friends until like 2020, like very end of my college experience, halfway through his college experience. So the fact that we were able to bless our younger sisters with like maybe sort of the same friendship earlier on is very special to us.
Aw.
So we just get to have a really fun time enjoying it
We love our
and
friends.
seeing
we love our
y'all.
sisters, family.
I'm loving him.
mm-hmm.
I'm loving my friend.
And then next year at Sally's rehearsal dinner, it'll be the second rehearsal dinner where all four of us are there.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Got the
that'll probably be our
invite.
last one too, because that's how it's gonna work. Because I don't think I'm gonna be at Ansley's unless Ansley you want me to like DJ or something like that. Actually, will you hire me? I'll do it for free. Will you hire me to DJ so I can like be a part whenever you get married one day?
Hey, I'll talk to my husband about it.
That's
your husband about it.
It's your wedding. Your husband. You can say, "Hey, just want to let you know."
No.
You know what? I think you would be a good
No
DJ.
more of that opinion in
So,
my
He
life.
actually is a pretty good DJ. He did Jared Gibson's wedding the other day.
should we shake on it?
He's pretty good.
Yeah, come on, let's shake. Hey,
Business
Mr.
deal.
Mr. Ansley.
Mr.
You saw it here.
Ansley.
Oh
This
man.
clip whenever
Hey.
I get married.
Hey, well,
So he knows.
I am just like so pleased with how today's podcast went.
So tickled.
I'm just tickled to death. I'm tickled to death how this went.
Tickled pink.
I'm tippled kink. I don't know. That's-
Not
I don't
that.
think I like that.
I'm a dripping sink.
Oh, okay.
I'm a sipping
Tea.
drank tea.
All right.
All right, last question, real quick. What's your most southern trait? I love sweet tea. That's mine.
My name is Sally Ann.
That is true. That is very true.
Can mine be my middle name is Grace?
I like my
or is
name,
that,
Mom, I
Is that
promise.
too copy?
Oh wait, here we go. What's your most Republican trait? What's your most Democrat trait? Your most Republican is you like sweet tea. Your most Democrat is
I'm very open. I'm a very open person.
let's go.
I have 10 piercings. That's my most Democrat.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say like artistic.
What's your most
Open.
Republican?
My most Republican. That's a great question. I read the Bible every day.
God, dang.
That's tough.
Oh man.
Is that too?
Is
that too
I
outspoken?
like
Sally,
I have
against
no
your
idea.
will,
It implies
you
that-
have
it
to say
implies-
one.
I literally have no idea.
You're just saying
Yeah,
that
you
because
can
you're
be liberal
marrying
and
a
read the
freaking
Bible
Republican
every day.
person.
I'm like
But
trying to
it's
think
just
of. I can't think of
stereotypes.
either. I guess the Republican trait would have to be the Sally Ann.
For sure.
And the fact that you're gonna marry
You
Nick
spend
and he
thousands
works
of
for-
dollars a year on coffee.
There you go. That's it.
There you go. And you own an espresso
Oh.
machine for your house.
I want to homeschool my children. I feel like that is a
That is mad Republican.
trait.
There you go.
Good point.
So your kid can talk like this.
Yeah, my kid does this and not use his whole mouth.
Anyone
Okay,
who's homeschooled
I'm gonna let you
listening has
diagnose
turned
me,
this off
Sally.
long
What's
ago.
my most Republican trait and what's my most Democrat trait?
Like? It could be the same.
These are
thing,
these are
like,
such deep stereotypes that like anything you say, everyone's gonna get offended.
I'm not even like trying to not. I have no idea. Like, you've worked at like 12 coffee shop. That's just like so easy.
Yeah.
Myers
doesn't like
The fact
tattoos.
that you
Republican.
live in Alabama is a pretty
I
Republican
love
trait.
woodworking and like lawn care. That's like a pretty Republican
honestly,
trait.
the way you do woodworking is in a more democratic way than Republican.
I own tools.
Exposed.
We'll keep it at that then.
All right.
Tools.
And then my most Republican trait, or my most Democrat trait, is I just got a tattoo last week. I hope my parents figure out that I don't think my parents know that I got a tattoo.
I was wondering
yet.
what they were gonna think about it.
That honestly, this is what I think This is what I think Dad's gonna say. Usually, when I tell Dad something, this is what he says. Okay.
He's gonna say, "What?"
He's gonna say, I mean, are you surprised?
No, he's gonna be like, "What? Why did you do that?"
My parents
That's
were
what he
really
would say to
upset
me.
when I got my tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why do you think Myres doesn't want a tattoo? I feel like he definitely seems like the type of guy who wants to.
he
Wait,
used to not care
Actually-
so much.
we're gonna cut the episode here. Sorry.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya. Welcome to the secret segment of the podcast.
Just
We're gonna
kidding,
talk
we're
about
not gonna cut it
secret things in secret ways. Okay,
Can
why do
I-
you think Myres
moving
doesn't
on.
want a
So
tattoo?
Myers used to
Like the last
to
7
not care
things
as
we've
much.
said could have been secret segment.
He used to not care as much, and then his friend spontaneously got a tattoo.
Yeah.
Like that day, chose to get the tattoo, and it was permanently on her body, and it was fairly large, and that kind of.
You did that? Is that what
No.
you're talking about?
No.
No, Myers' friend.
Who? Hey, your ex-girlfriend?
No.
No. Miriam Goins got this tattoo. I don't know if she listens to this. I know Lydia and Ryan do.
This is no
I
hate
didn't
to
love.
Miriam.
Yeah, Miriam's awesome. She's one of my favorite people. But I did not love the tattoo she got.
Okay.
And it kind of threw me off because it was like a super like.
But you did
Actually,
love
I'm
the
gonna
fact
get this now.
you did love the fact that she loved her tattoo, and you love her, and you love art, and you love what she loves about the tattoo.
Yes.
Okay.
Should I say I love someone who's not my wife, who is a girl? She's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't. I would not get her tattoo.
And she
I was just
chose
trying
to
to-
get it
you
that day.
Say something positive about the tattoo, if she ever hears this.
The lines were drawn really well.
Okay, there we go. Love it. Okay.
I mean, she looks cool.
What about that? That specific tattoo makes you not want to get tattoos?
It just kind of threw me off that it was like on a whim, do something that's like permanent. I'm like a very whimsical type of person. I will do many things on a whim, but not something that's like life.
Is that what whimsical and whim are they tied together?
Who knew?
I have no idea.
I would assume.
There's
I would
something on a
I
assume.
whimsical.
believe they are.
Whimsical.
Don't you think whimsical is some like someone who is whimsical does many things on a whim?
No. Okay, so but the fact that she got it was permanent, but it was you in your opinion bad. That means you don't think that, like you are scared of doing that yourself.
I know my taste changes over time.
Myres, if you got a Porsche 911 tattooed on your thigh, it would never, in a million years, you would never regret it.
I think you would regret it.
Why?
Because why would he want a Porsche 911 on his leg?
He loves cars.
He is obsessed with Porsche 911s.
Yes, but why would he want that permanently on his leg?
Because he wants one permanently in his garage.
That's completely different.
I just
How is
I
that
don't know. I
completely
don't
different?
really
It's
want.
part of you.
I just don't want a tattoo.
I was just trying to help him. I was just trying to help him side with
Come
the
up with-
tattooed people. Sally, did you ever
I'm
get a
not
tattoo?
against
Tattoo.
tattoo. Like all
Yeah.
my
Do you have
friends.
one already?
No.
Do I just not know about
All, now that you
I
have a
almost let my
tattoo,
friend give me a stick and poke.
I
but
think
didn't.
it?
I think every one of my best friends has a tattoo now that you have a tattoo.
Does Claire
I'm
have
not-
a tattoo?
No, I'm not anti-tattoo. I just don't really want one.
Okay. I'm not telling you should get one today. I'm just curious if this has like been a belief of yours to always just never get one.
I don't think so.
No. I've been trying to convince him to get a semicolon tattoo over his colon for years.
Because I only have
So
part of
funny.
my colon.
That's so
Hilarious.
funny. Anyway.
Seriously, like why haven't you gotten that? That'd be so funny.
So
For,
why
for
would I
context,
spend
Myres
like $75 on that?
I will buy it for
because
you.
it would make at least 75 people laugh. $1 a laugh, that's worth every penny. Everyone
Myers
would be
only
like,
has a third of a
everyone
colon.
say,
That's
Myers,
why
do you have a
he's saying-
tattoo? You could say, yeah. I have a corroded, or I have a fibrosed colon, so it's a semicolon. So I have a semicolon over my colon.
That
That
would,
would
be
make me
awesome.
laugh so much.
That
Yeah.
would be so funny.
Yeah, what are you? $75? $75 in your bank account? You've robbed people of joy.
Well,
I-
75
I
robbed
hate-
dollars.
I
They
hate people
belong
so
to other
much.
people.
before we finish, and now that we're in the secret part of this, and I'm sure no one is listening anymore.
Yeah, no one listens.
Everyone's
I'll be
left.
nice to you guys and say that I'm thankful that y'all are friends, so we could be friends.
Aw.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Also,
That's so
thankful that
kind.
y'all are friends because the reason I came to Sanford is because of Stephen's awesome community and friends, such as
Aw.
you, Myres.
Aw.
So, thank you both.
Wait, so
Aw.
would you
Thank
ever
you,
get?
Mom, for
Would you ever
having
get a
me.
tattoo, Sally?
Yeah.
Where would you get it? You think? Like you getting a rib tat, neck tat,
No.
arm
It probably
tat?
would
Talked
be
about
like
getting matching tattoos
on my
sometime.
wrist. Actually, yes, a tattoo I love, but I will never get because I will hate it in probably 2 years. Is like me and Ansley talked about getting like a little sparkle.
I
right
still want
here
a sparkle.
in the corner of my hand. I don't really think that's my vibe either, but
I don't really
I wanna
love
s-
hand
Freaking
tats.
hurt.
I want a sparkle so bad.
I think hand tats are sweet.
yeah, I would get something on my hand or like my wrist.
I've thought about getting a C on my
Oh.
arm over here.
For
I
Claire?
actually almost got
That'd be
a
cute.
tattoo right
Mhm.
here on my ankle last year.
I really want to
Remember
get.
that.
I really wanted. I should have done this before we went to Hawaii because we're gonna. It would be so fun to show this to Mom in Hawaii. But I want to get a heart that says "Mom" on my
Yeah.
like bicep
That's so funny.
because I know Mom's gonna be
hilarious,
so mad that I got a
but-
tattoo.
Maybe don't.
I love my mom. It's just true. It's just true. That will never go out of taste. I'll
I-
never be like I don't. I love my mom.
I already have multiple tattoos planned, but my mom is not happy about.
Do you only
those.
have one right now?
I only have one right now.
It's the one on your bicep right
It
there.
is the one on my bicep right there.
Yeah.
The next one I will get is going to wrap around my deltoid on my right arm.
What is a deltoid?
This top part on your shoulder.
You're
You'd know-
delt.
You'd know that if you were homeschooled.
That's right. There's this one tattoo artist that has like he does color ink, and I don't know if I'll ever get a color ink, but if I do, I'll definitely see if I can get this guy. He's in Nashville, and he has a red. It was like an old Ferrari with like the doors open.
That's cool.
It's so sick.
Yeah, I don't think
He
I'd
also
ever
does
get a color.
tattoos of. So like he does tattoos of guys moving a painting, like he does like with different paintings, which is really cool. And then he also
That's
will
cool.
do living room, like he'll do like a video, like he'll do a tattoo of like a living room set, like in
That's cool.
like a little box.
So
it
would
looks
you
like
get the
it's-
WOM set up as a tattoo on your leg from
I-
this guy?
No, I don't think I'll ever do. I don't think I'll ever do like art. That much of an art.
You're more of like an item.
I want like
and
a doodle.
Scribble. Doodle. Yeah.
I love a doodle.
I would probably do doodles
Agreed.
on my thighs.
I could see you with a thigh tap, Myers.
I would like if I got something, it would probably be like a cartoon on my thigh or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Like
that'd be
a-
cool. You should do that.
Meredith, who's married to Ethan Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that his last name?
Yeah.
Meredith Rivers has an E on her arm, and that's her only tattoo. And
See,
I think
I
that's
would
kind
love
of
an
cute.
N. The
Yeah.
two that I would get would be a flower on my ankle and an N on my hand or wrist.
Yeah.
Like underneath the ring,
No.
or
I hate.
like maybe
Hate's a strong word.
corner of hand.
I don't love
Or
when it's
here.
underneath the ring because it pokes out kind of funny, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like it more kind
Seth
of where,
has a tattoo.
where
Seth
Lillaby
has a-
has her
Yeah.
Z.
Wait, he has
Cross.
2 tattoos. I forgot about that.
Actually,
Yeah, Seth has the the Bible that everybody has with like the cross that's like 2 lines.
yeah.
Yeah, he has that on his. But I think he got it because he got his wedding ring tattooed on his finger.
I would also
Interesting.
do that. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
That'd be so painful.
he kept
But I
losing.
don't
Literally, he didn't do it for design. He did it because he kept losing his wedding
Yeah,
ring.
I know a guy who did that at
Yeah.
the last church I went to.
I saw someone at Seeds today who had that on their finger.
Mm.
It looked like one
Ugh.
of those rubber rings.
I know
but
a
it was
guy.
just a tattoo.
I know a guy got removed
Ooh,
after he got divorced,
that's
and
tough.
then he
pain.
got married again. Threw a ring on there second time around.
Yeah.
Ugh, stinks.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for having
All
us,
right now.
guys.
Guys, I'm not
Thanks,
gonna lie. This
girls.
is probably the most chill podcast for me I've ever had.
Yeah.
This was a good time.
Just
so-
family.
I had a grand time.
Just family.
Just fam.
get old time,
It's just family.
All love.
Get old time, man. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We just played music the entire last segment of this, and I know some listeners don't like it, so comment below if you sucked. If it sucked.
If you suck,
you
like as a
sucked,
person, then
comment below.
comment below.
Let us
Comment
know.
below. Let me know. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.